do making friends first, then straight into childhood memory.
Got it. Okay. First question. What do you often talk about with your new friends?
Ah, when I meet new friends, I usually talk about our hobbies or interests like movies or music. I think it's a good way to find common ground and get to know each other better. Sometimes we also talk about our studies or work, just to see if we have similar experiences.
Okay. Have you made any new friends recently?
Yes, actually, I made a new friend at my gym a few weeks ago. We started chatting after a class, and it turned out we both enjoy hiking.
Right.
Now, we often go for walks together on weekends, which is really nice.
Did you make a lot of friends when you were a child?
I think so, yes. I was quite outgoing as a child, so I made friends easily at school and in my neighborhood.
Right.
We used to play games together after school, and I still keep in touch with some of them even now.
Do you like making friends?
Yes, I do enjoy making friends because it helps me learn about different people and cultures. I think having friends makes life more interesting and enjoyable, and I always look forward to meeting new people.
Okay. Now, moving on to the topic of childhood memory. Who did you like to play with as a child?
When I was a child, I loved playing with my younger brother. We were really close in age, so we always had fun together, whether it was playing board games at home or just, running around outside with our friends from the neighborhood.
Where did you go to play as a child?
I usually played in the park near my house. It had a big playground with swings and slides, and there was a lot of space to run around.
Okay.
Sometimes my friends and I would also ride our bikes along the paths there after school.
Do you think it is better for children to grow up in the city or in the countryside?
Hmm. I think both have their advantages, but personally, I feel the countryside is better for children. There's more space to play, and it's safer.
What?
Well, living in the city can also be exciting because there are more activities and opportunities. So, yeah, pros and cons.
What are your best childhood memories?
My best childhood memories are from family trips to the beach. We used to build sand castles and swim in the sea all day. I remember feeling really happy and free during those times. Just, yeah, happy.
Did you enjoy your childhood?
Yes, I really enjoyed my childhood. I had a lot of friends and a loving family, so I always felt supported. I think those years were some of the happiest in my life.
And finally, for this section, what did you enjoy doing as a child?
As a child, I enjoyed drawing and painting a lot. I would spend hours making pictures with my colored pencils. I also liked playing football with my friends after school, which was always fun.
Okay, end scene for Band 8. So you've
Yeah.
just heard those responses across both topics.
Right, and listening back, you can hear it's clear it answers the question. Functional, definitely. It gets the message across, but maybe lacking that extra layer, a wider range of words or sentence types.
Exactly. So now let's do the same thing again. Same questions, same topics.
Yeah.
You're still the examiner, but this time I'll respond as a Band 9 test taker.
All right, round 2, Band 9 level. Let's begin with making friends. What do you often talk about with your new friends?
With new friends, I tend to discuss a wide range of topics, but we often start with our passions, perhaps travel or books we've recently read.
Okay.
I find that sharing personal stories or even funny experiences helps break the ice and creates a more relaxed atmosphere for both of us.
Have you made any new friends recently?
Yes, I have. Just last month, actually, I met someone at a photography workshop. We instantly connected over our love for capturing nature. And since then, we've gone on a few photo walks together. It's been really refreshing to bond over a shared hobby and exchange creative ideas.
Did you make a lot of friends when you were a child? Definitely. I was fortunate enough to grow up in a really lively neighborhood where all the kids played together. So, yeah, I made plenty of friends through school and extracurricular activities, too. And some of those friendships have actually lasted into adulthood, which is something I truly value.
Do you like making friends?
Absolutely. I genuinely enjoy meeting new people and forming connections. I believe that making friends not only broadens my perspective, but also enriches my life with diverse experiences and viewpoints. It's something I find both exciting and rewarding.
Okay, On to childhood memory again, the N9 level. Who did you like to play with as a child?
As a child, I was particularly close to my cousin, who lived just a few houses away. We were pretty much inseparable and spent countless afternoons inventing games and building forts together. Our imaginations really brought our little world to life.
Where did you go to play as a child?
Most of the time, I played in a small wooded area just behind my house. It felt like our own secret world, you know? A place where my friends and I could explore, climb trees, and pretend we were on these grand adventures.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it was the perfect place to let our creativity run wild.
Do you think it is better for children to grow up in the city or in the countryside?
Honestly, I think it really depends on the child's personality and maybe the family's preferences. But personally, I do lean towards the countryside.
Why is that?
Well, I think growing up surrounded by nature gives children a wonderful sense of freedom, and it really encourages them to be active and imaginative. That said, cities offer valuable cultural experiences too, which shouldn't be dismissed.
What are your best childhood memories?
Hmm. Some of my fondest memories are probably from summer evenings when my family would gather for barbecues in our backyard. We'd play games, share stories, and just enjoy each other's company. Those moments really shaped my appreciation for family.
Did you enjoy your childhood?
Absolutely. I had a wonderful childhood. I was lucky to have very supportive parents and a close-knit group of friends. Looking back now, I really appreciate how carefree and joyful those years were, and I cherish the experiences that helped me grow.
And the last question for this round. What did you enjoy doing as a child?
I was always drawn to creative activities, so I spent a lot of time drawing and writing little stories. But I also loved being outdoors, whether it was cycling, playing hide and seek, or just exploring my neighborhood with friends. A bit of both, really.
Okay, so we've now heard both sets. Band 8, then Band 9.
And hearing them back to back like that, the difference is quite noticeable, isn't it?
It really is. It's one thing to talk about the differences, but hearing them directly applied to the same questions,
Uh-huh.
it highlights those nuances.
Exactly. So let's take off the role play hats now and put on our analysis ones. Let's dig into the language itself, starting with that Band 8 performance.
Okay. Grammatically speaking, what did we hear mostly?
Well, in the Band 8 answers, it was primarily simple and compound sentences. You heard a lot of past simple, like I made a new friend, or we used to play games, and present simple for routines, like I usually talk about our hobbies. Right, functional structures, like the example we started chatting. And it turned out we both enjoy hiking. Two simple clauses joined by and.
Precisely. Grammatically correct, perfectly understandable, but perhaps not demonstrating a very wide grammatical range or complexity.
Makes sense. And vocabulary-wise in Band 8, what stood out?
The vocabulary was, again, functional and appropriate. Words like hobbies, interests, outgoing, loving, family. We also heard common ground.
Ah, yes, common ground, meaning shared interests or opinions, right? Like finding something you both like.
Exactly. You might say finding common ground on movies helps start the conversation. It creates that basis for connection.
And outgoing just means sociable, friendly.
Yeah. Someone who enjoys being with others isn't shy. Like her outgoing nature meant she made friends easily.
And loving family is pretty self-explanatory, affectionate, supportive.
Right. So the Band 8 vocabulary is effective for basic communication. Definitely.
Yeah.
It just doesn't show the same level of precision or perhaps sophistication as we see in the higher band.
Okay, so that's Band 8. Clear, functional, uses common structures and vocabulary effectively. Now let's pivot to Band 9. What shifted grammatically?
A key difference was the demonstration of greater control over a wider variety of structures. We heard more complex sentences.
How so? Any examples?
Well, think about I find that sharing personal stories or even funny experiences helps break the ice. That whole chunk, starting with that, acts as the subject of helps and creates. It's a subordinate clause used in a more complex way.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. More intricate.
We also heard different tenses used appropriately, like the present perfect continuous. We've gone on a few photo walks. That connects a past action to the present and suggests it might continue.
So it's that range and control over more complex grammar that contributes to a more sophisticated feel.
Exactly. It allows for more nuance and a more detailed expression of ideas.
Fascinating. And the vocabulary in Band 9, that definitely felt richer.
Absolutely. It was noticeably more precise and varied. Instead of just usually talk about, the speaker used tend to discuss.
Tend to, which suggests more of a habit or inclination, right? A bit softer than usually.
Yes. Like, I tend to read before bed. It's a subtle but effective choice. And then there was the idiom, break the ice.
Ah, classic one. Meaning to make people feel more comfortable when first meeting.
Precisely. To ease that initial social awkwardness, his joke really helped break the ice.
And what about instantly connected?
That conveys a really quick, strong rapport. Instantly, meaning right away. And using refreshing to bond, refreshing, adds that emotional layer, suggesting it felt new or revitalizing. And to bond means forming that close connection.
Yeah, bond feels stronger than just become friends.
It implies a deeper connection, yeah.
And there were some really descriptive words related to childhood too, weren't there?
Definitely. Like lively neighborhood, it paints a picture of energy and activity, much more than just saying my neighborhood.
And countless afternoons, just emphasizing it happened many, many times.
Right. And describing the cousin and speaker as inseparable, that immediately tells you how close they were. Very close.
That phrase, our imaginations really brought our little world to life. That's quite poetic.
It is. It's vivid, expressive language describing imaginative play. Much more engaging than just saying, we pretended a lot.
And calling the woods a secret world gives that sense of magic and discovery.
Yeah. Evokes wonder and let our creativity run wild, meaning to express it freely without limits.
When talking about city versus countryside, the phrase lean towards
Just indicates a preference or inclination, but perhaps not an absolute conviction. It's nuanced. I lean towards the countryside.
and using fondest memories instead of just best memories.
Fondest carries more warmth, more affection, most cherished.
Okay. And close-knit group for friends.
Suggests strong, supportive relationships within the group, like a tightly woven fabric.
And cherish the experiences.
Means to value them deeply, hold them dear. It's stronger than just appreciate.
And finally, being drawn to creative activities.
Yes, it's just a natural pull, an inherent attraction or inclination towards something, like she was always drawn to music.
Wow, okay. So it's really clear when you break it down. The Band 9 speaker is using a much wider, more precise, and often more expressive vocabulary.
Exactly. They're painting a much more detailed picture, conveying nuances of feeling and meaning that the Band 8 vocabulary, while correct, doesn't quite capture to the same extent.
So this comparison really drives home the point, doesn't it? Achieving that higher band, like a 9, isn't just about being understood.
Not at all. It's about demonstrating a sophisticated command of English, using a flexible range of grammar, and a rich, precise vocabulary, natural and effectively.
And for you listening, we hope this deep dive gives you some really valuable insights into what sets higher level spoken English apart.
Yeah, whether you're facing an exam like IELTS or just, aiming to level up your everyday communication skills.
Paying attention to the richness of your vocabulary, maybe experimenting with slightly more complex sentence structures, can make a real difference.
It really can impact how clearly and expressively you get your ideas across.
Which leads us to a final thought for you to chew on.
How does that conscious effort, deliberately trying to expand your vocabulary, trying out different grammatical ways to say things, how does that not only potentially impact a test score, but how does it actually shape the clarity, the impact, and maybe even the quality of your day-to-day conversations?
Something to think about. How does better language change how we connect?
A fascinating question to explore as you continue your language journey.